Hey everyone, how y'all doing today, and welcome back to another meta guide. So we are in my favorite league, the Open Ultra League. So the Open Ultra League will run alongside the Fantasy Cup for the Great League. Beginning tomorrow. So are you going to be playing the Ultra League, or will you be playing the Fantasy Cup? I guess it might depend if you have the resources for the Ultra League. A lot of these Pokemon are excelled. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into it and see what we got going on for us. So for the S rank, of course, that Feraligatr, or the Shadow version of Feraligatr. If I had the choice, I would go with the Shadow one, and I do have the choice. So hopefully you have the choice. That's the one I would recommend, but I do think the regular one is really good as well. It's just I personally prefer the Shadow one, and I have been enjoying it with Ice Beam for the past couple of seasons. Next up, we have Gastrodon. Ever since Mudslap was boosted, Gastrodon absolutely skyrocketed in value, and it's so good in the Ultra League, good in the Great League. It's just such a great Pokemon. Definitely the best Mudslap user in my opinion. And then we have Clefable. Clefable is really, really strong as a fairy type user. Of course, it gets to Swift really fast if you're running Swift. It has Meteor Mash as an option, and of course, Moonblast is a move you want. But Fairy Wind did receive a buff last season, a little bit more damage, and it is doing quite a bit at that. Then we have Primeape. Of course, Rage Fist is a really good move. Primeape's interesting. Of course, Karate Chop is a legacy move, so you do have to use an Elite TM if you don't have it. And then, so is Rage Fist, but that had a community day. Hopefully you have a few of them with Rage Fist, so you don't have to use an Elite Charge TM. And then usually you run Close Combat for the heavy hitting fighting attack. Of course, I've seen Ice Punch as well, but I do like Close Combat on this Primeape. And then next we have Zygarde Complete. Oh man, this Pokemon is broken. It really is. It's so busted. So the moveset I've been running is Dragon Tail, Crunch, and Outrage. You could run Earthquake as well. It has Bulldoze, which technically received a rework this season, but Bulldoze is still a bad move, so do not run Bulldoze on this Pokemon. I like the Crunch and Outrage. It might depend on your team. Earthquake is a valuable strategy, or valuable move to run as well, but great Pokemon, fantastic. The bulkiest Pokemon there is. It's just so good. And then we have Giratina, another great Dragon-type Pokemon. You can use it with Shadow Claw or Dragon Breath, both of which are good. This has been good since the beginning of Go Battle League in the Ultra League. Cobalion, love using Cobalion. It does a little bit better. I feel like this, the past couple of seasons, just because Counter was nerfed, you don't see a lot of that anymore. However, now, because of Rage Fist, you do see the Primeape, and you do see the Annihilate. We also have Machamp. We also have Pangoro, so... something to keep in mind, but Cobalion is still one of the best Pokemon for the Ultra League. And then we have Cresselia. Cresselia is super tanky, so Cresselia, the charge attacks you run on Cresselia could go any which way. I like the Grass Knot Moonblast route. Of course, if you go that route, you're not going to have any play against fire types like Talonflame or Skeledirge. That's why some people like to run Future Sight Moonblast or Future Sight Grass Knot. I've seen so many different move combinations. It really depends on your team, but such a bulky, strong Pokemon. For the A rank, we do have Galarian Weezing, or the Shadow version of Galarian Weezing. I have I think I have a rank 8 Shadow, so let's go. Really powerful stuff. Fairy Wind, of course, was buffed last season, so was Brutal Swing. And then Overheated Play Rough. I don't know, what moveset do you think you go with? Probably the Play Rough, right? So you don't debuff yourself. Then we have Drapion, a Shadow Drapion. It is a really good safe swap. I like the Shadow version over the regular one. The only problem is if you do safe swap it, a Mudslap user like Gastrodon could come in. But it's still a pretty good safe swap, I think. It's just a good Pokemon in general. Then we have Steelix, Thunderfang, Steelix more specifically. You could go with Dragon Tail, though. Dragon Tail or Thunderfang. I don't know. Which one are you going to run? I'm excited to try Steelix in the Ultra League. I'll try it with Thunderfang, but... I don't know, Dragon Tail, I just feel like you may want Dragon Tail just because of all the dragons, right? And of course you have Steel ground type, so you're not going to be weak to dragons, so you're going to have the advantage in there. Still a really powerful Pokemon. Regirock, really, really bulky. Wait, did I actually put Regirock above Registeel? I don't even think I have Registeel on this graphic. I guess Registeel is still probably good, but Regirock is actually on this with Lock-On and Stone Edge. Because there's a Stone Edge so fast, absolutely love to see it. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't include Registeel on the list. It probably deserves to be on the list somewhere, but that's okay. I don't see it too much. Maybe that's why. Lickilicky. I like the double nuke in the Ultra League for Lickilicky without Body Slam. So I've been running Shadow Ball and Earthquake, but it also has Solar Beam. You might be able to catch a lot of water types like the Gastrodon off guard with Solar Beam. So it is something to keep in mind. I myself have lost the Gastrodon to Solar Beam, so you could run that. Just keep in mind. Keep track of the counts, and if you're kind of concerned about Solar Beam, you could always throw up a shield if you want. It really depends. And then we have Malamar. I would say most Lickilicky are not running Solar Beam, but once in a while you do see it. And Malamar is really, really fantastic. Absolutely love this Pokemon. I have a good rank 1 for the Ultra League. Psywave is such a strong move, and so is Superpower and Foul Play. Love to see it. Virizion is another great Pokemon. Another Pokemon I love to see as well. Annihilate, not as common as it used to be. Yes, it came back because of Rage Fist, but it's still not as common as it used to be. Which obviously Virizion doesn't like because the fighting type damage is heavily resisted, but still a really good Pokemon. Love to see it. And then Drifblim, a Shadow Drifblim. Absolutely fantastic. Astonish is a great move. I love the Shadow one just because of the Shadow Astonish damage. Astonish is the best Ghost fast move in the game. It's absolutely insane. Love using it. Moving on to the B rank, Galarian Moltres. Absolutely fantastic Pokemon to use. I've used this a decent amount of times in the Great League. Never the Ultra League because I just got one during the Wild Area event. So I finally got another one for the Ultra League. Doesn't have good IVs, but I'll still build it for the Ultra League, whatever. So cool Pokemon. Another one, Dusknoir. I don't see this too often, but honestly, Shadow Dusknoir with the Astonish is doing a lot of damage. I do like Drifblim more, but if you want to consider a double Astonish team, that might not be that bad, to be honest. And then we have Annihilate, of course, with Counter Rage Fist, and then the other move could be Ice Punch. It could be Close Combat. Could be Shadow Ball. Just kidding. Don't go Shadow Ball. You don't want double Ghost moves as the charge attacks, but Close Combat, just the heavy hitting fighting type attack. I just like it. I like Rage Fist Close Combat. I really do. On both Primeape and Annihilate. Then we have Gliscor. So Gliscor received an update with Sand Attack this season. I actually like it. I do. It's not broken or anything. It's not overpowered. You're not going to see it too often. But I still like it a lot. And I'll definitely be trying it out. I've tried it out in the Great League. I'll be trying it out in the Ultra League as well. Then we have Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz is so thick. You do want a hundo if you have one. I actually don't have a hundo, but I have a 96 that I've used in the Ultra League maxed out. If I get a hundo, I'll build another one, but it's really good. It's really tanky. Strong Pokemon. And then we have Tentacruel. Tentacruel, you all know how much I've hit Legend with Tentacruel multiple times in the Ultra League. I just love this Pokemon. Poison Jab. I've been running Scald and Blizzard. Obviously, you could remove the Blizzard depending on your team comp for like Acid Spray or even Sludge Wave. If I ran the Shadow, I probably would go Acid Spray just because of the damage, the Poison Jab damage, Shadow damage, and then you're doing even more damage after the Acid Spray. And you could always charge up to Blizzard as well. And then we have Alolan Sandslash. This technically received the buff as well this season because of Ice Punch, but it was still good previously, so really strong Pokemon. Guzzlord, I've loved using this in the past. Really, really strong Dragon-type Pokemon. Other options, we do have Swampert. So Swampert could be okay. Obviously, Mudshot was nerfed. It still gets to the Hydro Cannons pretty fast. I do feel like we have better water types nowadays, but Swampert is something to consider. Pangoro. Fighting type, again, we have better fighting types like Primeape or Annihilate or Cobalion, Virizion, but Pangoro could be pretty fun to use as well. It actually is fun. I like using Pangoro. Tapu Fini with that Nature's Madness debuff. And then we have Stunfisk, the Universe Stunfisk. It did receive the Thundershock buff. I have a Hundo Best Buddy maxed out before this season, so that's pretty cool. It is expensive, of course, level 50, but still, I mean, this could be a pretty good Pokemon to use. Pretty fun Pokemon to use as well. And then we have Talonflame, of course. Talonflame and Skeledirge, both with the Incinerate damage, doing really, really good damage, right? Machamp, another fighting type. Karate Chop and Stone Edge are Legacy. You don't need Stone Edge. You could run Rock Slide if you want to, but Stone Edge is Legacy if you consider that. Then we have Skunk Tank. We have Miltank, a rollout user. Lickilicky is a rollout user. I feel like, I don't know, I like Lickilicky in the Ultra League a little bit more. And then we have Walrein. I've seen Walrein actually a decent amount of times. It's kind of surprising just because it didn't receive the buff again or anything. Just kind of surprising to see it, but I'm not against it. I like it. And then we have Clodsire. Very cool stuff to see Clodsire. Clodsire, You want a hundo. It doesn't max out quite at 2,500, but it could actually do pretty well. And then we have Gudra. So another dragon type. Moving on to the solid team option. So for the first team is the team. It's going to be Zygarde complete with Tentacruel and Gastrodon. Now, a couple things about this. One, not last season, a couple seasons before, for multiple seasons, I ran for Alligator, like before the buff to Mudslap. And last season, a friend of mine, Drade, who's also an amazing streamer, he hit Legend with the Gastrodon instead. So I tried Gastrodon, did really well. I got close to Legend with it. I didn't quite hit Legend in the Ultra League with this team. I came very, very close. Drifblim, like in the 2900s, I was seeing a lot of Drifblim in the back, and the backline cannot really handle Drifblim, especially that Gastrodon. I mean, you do have Blizzard with the Tentacruel, but, I mean, if they have Shield, they just shield it and they just win with the Drifblim. So Zygarde really has to see the Drifblim if there's a Drifblim on the opposing team. So something to keep in mind. Obviously, even Zygarde, because Icy Wind is double super effective, you still don't want to see it, but that's the matchup you really have to see. So Drifblim, kind of a core breaker, but it's not like I've never beaten Drifblims, and it's not like it's on every team as well. Next up, we have another team. We have double fighting. We have Primeape and Annihilate, so double ape with Tentacruel in the back. Of course, the apes, what are they going to hate? They're going to hate fairy types like a Charm User, Clefable. Tentacruel will do fantastic against those Pokemon. And if you happen to see, let's say, a Talonflame, Tentacruel resisting the Incinerate, it could take a Brave Bird, could take Fly's Flame Charge as well. And, you know, Poison Jab is neutral, but if you have Scald, obviously Scald probably will be shielded. If you go in the Shadow route, Shadow Tentacruel, you could go Acid Spray if you want on it, but if you have the regular one, could run that Blizzard. Skeledirge might give this team a little bit of a problem, although, I don't know, because you do have Rage Fist in the back, so we'll see. I mean, not that Skeledirge is, like, super common anyway. You see it here or there, but could be a pretty fun team to use. A team I might give a try as well. I don't know if it's the most competitive, but it could be a lot of fun. You could run something else in the lead as well if you want to try it. And then next up, we do have another team. We do have Galarian Weezing, or the Shadow Galarian Weezing, whichever one you prefer. And then we have Drifblim or Shadow Drifblim, and then Guzzlord. I really do like the Shadow Drifblim, so if you have one, I would recommend it. And yeah, could be a pretty good team. Safe swap the Drifblim if you happen to have a bad lead, and go from there. Obviously, the lead is not going to like Mudslap users. Drifblim does great against Mudslap. Guzzlord's kind of neutral, but you're doing a lot with the Dragon Tail. Next up, we have a non-XL team. I thought you all would want a non-XL team. It's still expensive. It's going to be Cresselia. And then we have the Feraligatr or the Shadow one. If you have it, hopefully you do have the Shadow Feraligatr. And then Giratina as well. So yeah, non-XL. Again, still 2 legendaries. Still going to be expensive to unlock the second moves. Feraligatr is a Community Day move, so it does need Hydro Cannon. So just a lot to consider. Even though it's non-XL, it's still pretty expensive. But I still think this team could be pretty good to run. Next up, we have Galarian Moltres in the lead with Lickilicky. I think Lickilicky can work as a pretty good safe swap. And then we have Drifblim. So, ABA Flying. So, this team will struggle to Alolan Sandslash if Sandslash is in the lead. But if Sandslash has Shadow Claw, the Moltres really doesn't have a bad matchup. Or not that bad, right? I mean, the Sucker Punch is definitely adding up. So, it's not terrible. So, if the Sandslash is in the lead, I would actually stay in. But yeah, at the end of the day, you want ABA weak to Ice. If you battle a Wolverine, that will be unfortunate. Aurorus, something to keep in mind. But Sucker Punch will still do a lot of damage. Maybe put the Lickilicky in the lead and have the 2 in the back and safe swap to lure out a nice type. You could go that route as well. And then the final team is going to be the Sand-Attack Gliscor. I wanted to have this on a team with Clefable and Cobalion as well. So, yeah, let me know what you think of these teams. Let me know what meta you're going to be playing. Will it be the Fantasy Cup? Will it be the Ultra League? I'll start in the Ultra League. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day. Bye.